You've done the work. You've ended the toxic relationship. You've walked away from the draining friendship. You've left the suffocating job. And then, somehow, 6 months later, you're in the exact same situation. Different name, different face, same dynamic. And you start to wonder if you're the problem. You're not the problem, but you are part of a pattern. And today, we are going to talk about exactly why that pattern keeps showing up and what it actually takes to break it at the root. Because the answer is not choose better people. If choosing were that simple, you would have chosen differently already. The answer is deeper than that, and it starts in a place most people never think to look.
1. Why your nervous system chooses familiar over healthy. Let's start with something that will make you look at every relationship choice you have ever made completely differently. Your nervous system does not choose partners, friends, or environments based on what is good for you. It chooses based on what is familiar. This is not a metaphor, this is neuroscience. Your brain has spent years, possibly your entire childhood, building a detailed internal model of what relationships feel like, what love feels like, what connection feels like, what safety feels like. And that model was built from your earliest and most repeated experiences. If those experiences involved chaos, your nervous system learned that chaos is what relationships feel like. If those experiences involved someone being hot and cold, your nervous system learned that hot and cold is what love feels like. If those experiences involved walking on eggshells, managing someone else's emotions, performing for approval, your nervous system learned that this is simply what being close to someone requires. And now, as an adult, when you meet someone who matches that internal model, your nervous system lights up, not with alarm, with recognition. That feeling of instant chemistry, of feeling like you've known this person forever, of feeling unusually comfortable unusually quickly. Sometimes that is genuine connection, but sometimes, and this is the part that is so hard to hear, that feeling of coming home is your nervous system recognizing a familiar pattern, not a healthy one, a familiar one. And familiar to a nervous system, even a painful familiar, registers as safe. 2. The 4 invisible magnets. There are 4 specific psychological mechanisms that act as invisible magnets, pulling you toward toxic dynamics, even when your conscious mind wants something completely different. Magnet 1. Repetition compulsion. Sigmund Freud identified something over 100 years ago that modern neuroscience has since confirmed. Human beings have a deep unconscious drive to repeat unresolved experiences, not to suffer, but to try to get a different ending this time. If you were raised by an emotionally unavailable parent, you may find yourself repeatedly drawn to emotionally unavailable partners. Not because you enjoy the pain, but because somewhere beneath conscious awareness, there is a drive to finally get the love that was withheld. To finally be chosen. To finally be enough for someone who resembles the person who first made you feel you weren't. The tragedy of repetition compulsion is that it never works, because the person you are trying to get love from is never actually the parent. They just rhyme with the parent, and the resolution you are seeking cannot come from them. It can only come from within. Magnet 2. Trauma bonding. We touched on this in day 1, but in the context of adult relationships, it becomes even more important to understand. Trauma bonding occurs when cycles of tension, conflict, and relief create a powerful neurochemical attachment. Here is what is actually happening in your brain during a toxic relationship cycle. During conflict and tension, cortisol and adrenaline spike. Your nervous system is in threat mode. Then comes the reconciliation, the apology, the affection, the return of warmth.
and your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. A powerful cocktail of feel-good neurochemicals. And here is the cruel twist. The higher the preceding tension, the more powerful the relief feels. The neurochemical hit is actually stronger when it follows suffering. This is why leaving a toxic relationship can feel like withdrawal from a substance, because neurochemically it is. Your brain has been flooded with stress chemicals followed by relief chemicals on a repeating cycle, and it has become dependent on that cycle. This is not weakness, this is neurobiology. Magnet 3. Misidentified feelings. This one is subtle and devastating. Many people who grew up in chaotic or emotionally intense environments learned to associate love with intensity. Calm, consistent, mature love, the kind that does not keep you guessing, does not make your heart race with anxiety, does not feel like a puzzle you have to solve, can feel boring, flat, like something is missing. What is actually missing is the anxiety, the chase, the uncertainty. But because those feelings were present during the most intense bonding experiences of your early life, your nervous system has mislabeled them as love. So you meet someone stable and kind, and it feels like nothing. No spark, no chemistry. You tell yourself you're just not attracted to them. And then you meet someone who keeps you slightly off balance, who is inconsistent, who makes you work for their attention, and it feels electric. That electricity is not attraction, it is activation. Your nervous system recognizes the pattern and switches into the familiar mode it learned in childhood. Magnet 4. The fixer pattern. Some people are drawn to toxic relationships not despite the other person's dysfunction, but because of it. If you grew up in an environment where your worth was measured by your usefulness, by how well you managed, helped, fixed, or supported others, then a person who clearly needs fixing can feel like a calling. Here is someone you can help. Here is someone who needs exactly what you are good at giving. Here is a relationship where your role is clear and your value is obvious. And it can genuinely feel like love, like compassion, like choosing to see the best in someone. But underneath, it is often a reenactment of the childhood role, the caretaker, the one who earns love through service, the one who cannot rest unless they are needed. And the painful discovery that you cannot fix another person, that love is not supposed to be a rescue mission, that you deserve to be chosen, not just needed. That discovery takes time and often heartbreak to arrive at.
3. The red flags you were trained to ignore. Here is something that frustrates people when they first hear it, but is genuinely important. The red flags were there. Almost always, in retrospect, the signs were present early, sometimes from the very first interaction. So why didn't you see them? You did see them. You just didn't have the internal permission to take them seriously. If you grew up in an environment where your perceptions were consistently dismissed, where you were told you were too sensitive, imagining things, overreacting, you learned to distrust your own instincts. So when something felt off early in a relationship, when there was a comment that landed wrong, a moment of coldness that seemed disproportionate, a small lie that didn't add up, you had a choice between two explanations. Either your instinct is right and something is wrong, or your instinct is wrong and you are overreacting again. And because you had been trained to default to the second option, you explained it away. You gave the benefit of the doubt. You decided to be generous and not jump to conclusions. That generosity was not naivety. It was a survival strategy from childhood that had simply been misapplied. The other reason red flags get ignored is specific to trauma-bonded and fixer-patterned people. The
the red flag itself can actually increase attraction. Someone who is emotionally unavailable becomes a puzzle to solve. Someone who is inconsistent becomes a person to win over. Someone who shows early signs of controlling behavior can be reframed as passionate and protective. The reframe happens automatically, below conscious awareness, because the nervous system is pattern matching, and the pattern it recognizes as love includes these features.
4. What actually breaks the pattern? Here is the honest answer that most content on this topic avoids. You cannot think your way out of this pattern. You cannot make a list of green flags and simply choose someone who checks all the boxes. You cannot use willpower to override a nervous system that has been trained for years to respond to specific cues. The pattern lives in the body, in the nervous system, in the automatic responses that happen faster than conscious thought. Which means the work of breaking it is also in the body, in the nervous system, in the slow, patient, sometimes uncomfortable process of updating what safety actually feels like. Here is what that process actually involves. Sit with the calm. The most important and most counterintuitive practice for someone breaking a toxic attraction pattern is this: learn to tolerate positive, stable, calm connection without sabotaging it. When you meet someone consistent and that consistency feels flat or boring, do not immediately dismiss it. Instead, get curious. Ask yourself honestly, is this actually boring? Or is this calm, and have I ever learned to tell the difference? Deliberately stay in the calm long enough for your nervous system to build a new data point. That calm is safe. That calm is real. That calm does not require you to perform or manage or fix. This is uncomfortable because calm is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar, as we now know, registers as danger. But with repetition, slow, deliberate, patient repetition, the nervous system can update. Notice the activation. When you feel that electric pull towards someone, that instant intense chemistry, treat it as information rather than instruction. Not, this feeling means I should pursue this person, but this feeling is data. What is it telling me? Does this person remind me of something familiar? Does this dynamic have a shape I recognize? You are not suppressing attraction. You are becoming a more sophisticated reader of your own internal signals. Do the earlier work first. Ultimately, the toxic attraction pattern is downstream of earlier wounds. The repetition compulsion, the trauma bond template, the misidentified feelings of love, these were all formed in earlier relationships, which means the most powerful work happens in relation to those earlier experiences, not the current one. Therapy, somatic work, inner child work, grief work around what was not given. Not because you need to be fixed, but because you deserve to update the internal model that was built when you were too young to choose what went into it.
I want to leave you with something today. The fact that you keep attracting toxic dynamics does not mean you are broken. It means you are human, with a nervous system that was shaped by experiences you did not choose in a time when you had no power to choose differently. The pattern is not your fault, but it is your work. Not as punishment, as reclamation. The version of you that chooses from wholeness rather than from wound. That version is not some distant future self. It is the same self you are right now, slowly given new information, new experiences, new evidence of what is actually possible. Tomorrow, day 6, we go into something that flows directly from everything we have covered this week. They programmed you to fail. The specific ways your earliest environment set up patterns that actively work against your success, and what it takes to finally override them. If this week has been landing for you, day 6 is essential. Subscribe, follow, set the notification, and tell me in the comments which of the 4 magnets resonated most with you today. See you tomorrow.